Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Barbells and Banter. So if this is the first time that you are here, please hit that subscribe and follow button because today we talked about getting huge. We talked about all the mistakes that people make when building muscle. We talked about some of the things that people look for that maybe aren't serving them to assess their results and stuff. And then obviously we gave you like some structured steps on all of the things that you're looking for to maximize your progress in the gym when it comes to building muscle. If you are interested in taking your training to the next level, we have applications for coaching that are open right now. Our team is ready to take you guys from where you are now to where you want to be, bigger, stronger, leaner, or a combination of both of those. So jump on the website, hit an application. We'll have a chat, see if we're a right fit, put you with the right coach that's going to help you, work towards the goals that you have. That is all we have for today, guys. Get into the episode, enjoy it, and we'll see you next time. That was like, what you just said then was not productive at all, though. No. You know, when you I really need this thing, and you're like, yeah, I have that, but I actually don't know where it is. It's like, okay, cool. Thanks, bro.
You're welcome. Just thought I'd give you that piece of information that
just like,
doesn't help solve the solution.
It's really disappointing. Yeah.
It'd be really good if I knew where they were.
Yeah. Well, anyway, thanks, Tam.
Yeah.
Tam filled me with confidence.
Yeah. Should we get coloured ones? I feel like we should start fucking with the headset.
I liked my donuts one, the donuts on mine.
It gets
a lot of attention.
It was a bit iconic, Jason, with the donut.
What?
Earphones.
Why?
It was just like recognisable.
Oh yeah,
it's like an icon.
Absolutely. Thing. Yeah. It's very. Ben, I had pineapples.
I had Ben doing pendulum squats on a Saturday that I don't do. So Jason has donuts.
Have you changed your program? Yeah. Are you doing the boxing shit
this week? When I fucking can. Yes.
Yeah. So I was like, he hasn't been.
I've only been back for 4 days.
Yeah, well,
it's
pathetic. It's pathetic that you haven't taken action on it immediately.
So I've started my new program. It was funny walking into the gym this morning.
Yeah.
It was just like watching myself. So I watch myself walk in the glass towards the gym. And I was like, that boy has a bit of a pop in his step. Usually like, I'm just like, ugh.
Oh yeah.
It's just like stomping
nothing
into
hurts
the gym.
Yet.
I'm like, nothing hurts. So I had some time away. It's a 4-day program.
Yeah.
I deliberately made the program not savage because I knew the workload that we were about to go into. So I'm like, yeah, it's nice. We'll see how I feel after doing legs and then driving here and then podcast. I feel
like 4 days a week, 4 days training. You'll. This sounds great because you don't have any fatigue right now. Yeah. 2 weeks of like sending it, and then you're going to be like, every day is hard.
Yeah, maybe I should do 3 days.
Nah, 3 days, no way. I can't believe
just movement variety. I'd be so bored.
So I had a week off because I was sick, as everyone knows, and then we went to Thailand. Like we didn't really train much.
I feel like you just didn't want to come hang out with Kirsty,
No, I didn't. I was scared to meet new people. I've been doing a lot of fucking socializing over this last fortnight, Ben. So yeah, and then we went to Thailand. And like Thailand, we didn't train much. Like we didn't train. We just moved our body against resistance.
Yeah, quarter pump.
Yeah.
Sorry, Tim.
Sorry, bro.
We buried.
Yeah. Yeah, I was third gear, I reckon.
Yeah.
Like if that.
Yeah.
And then come back and didn't really get a chance. Like I did like a day or two, and then we went away again.
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck? I have so much free time.
Yeah.
Like that week, I was like sick. I was like, I can't believe how many hours are in a day.
So I moved.
When you don't go to the gym.
I moved my check-ins from Tuesday, Thursday nights to mornings. That's why I've gone back to 4-day program. Yeah. So I can just work.
Yeah.
Like having my client stuff done by like 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning. I'm like,
what a time to be alive.
So much room for activities.
5 days a week now.
Yeah.
Yeah. What a time to be alive.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's insane. Yeah.
It's been really good.
Yeah. I only just got back to, how many sessions have I done this week? Today will be my 4th.
Yeah, I've done 3.
I got out of bed yesterday and I was like, because, like every week, every day I've gotten like 10% better.
Yeah.
And yesterday I was like, I'm not going to the gym.
Yeah.
Like it just was like, today. Yeah, I was just like, I'm not going. And then I was lying in bed and I was just getting anxious about not going. And I was like, in my head, I'm just like going CT-Fletcher on myself, like, you're a pussy. And like, how are you going to get any bigger if you just like lie in bed?
Carry the votes.
Yeah. Like, how are you going to get any bigger if you just
I love that you still reference CT-Fletcher and not like Goggins or something.
Oh, nah. Yeah.
I like
it's like, you're a pussy.
Yeah.
Get to the gym. Yeah. So then I like got up and I was like, I just said to Steph, I'm like, go to the gym.
I don't feel like myself.
I have to go to the gym. No, she said something like, you'll feel better if you go. I think that meant you were really depressed this week.
Yeah.
That is her way of saying like, you're
I'm on school holidays and you're being annoying. Go to the
your
gym.
mindset. Yeah, you're bringing the vibes down, brother. Like you need to go to the gym, get some fucking endorphins in. So yeah. But I felt better. I was like, I nearly fucking died on the leg press, bro.
Oh.
So I'm counting the days down till this new gym opens.
Yeah,
right?
okay.
Like, and obviously it's quite delayed. Yeah, they've got to build lots of machines, whatever.
No, they don't. They just they just told you it was going to launch, or they just like sell more memberships. And
Which I still haven't bought. and what I'm going to do is buy the most expensive one. And I should have.
Yeah.
Anyway, so like I have to go back to this gym and train, which is kind of tough. Mm-hmm. Right. So I think that's where this I have this internal struggle at the moment. It's like I already told myself that I would not be here.
Yeah, go to the other one. Yeah, gotcha.
Anyway, so I'm on the leg press, right? I've done like 1 plate, 2 plates, like 3 plates warming up, yeah? Uh-huh. So I've already done 3 sets of leg press to get the 4th, 4 plates aside, right? 25s as well. Oof. So
just to let everyone know.
So I'm about to do the first working set. Yeah. And I unlock it, and as I come back, the whole plate just goes crashing like towards the so where you can adjust the plate.
Yeah.
So it's got the rod.
Yep.
Yeah, so that apparently wasn't on the whole time.
Jesus.
But it was load sensitive. So once you got to
load sensitive.
So once you got to 4 plates, the whole plate just pushed back. So I'm like fucking knees like up like near my face, like either side of my face, and I'm like, how the fuck am I going to get out of here? Like but I took it so well. You should have seen how calm I was, man. Like I was just like, I've been here before, like, and at least it's not a pendulum squat where you can't get out.
Yeah.
So a mate of mine kind of come over and he's like, what the fuck happened? And I said, the plate must have moved. And he goes, oh yeah, it happens all the time. And I was like, what? Like that's fucked, dude.
It happens all the time.
Yeah, so then after that, every set, as I put more weight on, it was like, the pin, I was smacking the fuck out of it to make sure it jammed in.
Yeah.
But yeah, then I was just like, I need to get out of here, man.
Remember that day filming and the bench collapsed under me?
Yeah, bro, I do.
It's terrifying.
Yeah, we were kind of laughing, but then it progressively realised that it was very serious, and you were concussed.
Yeah, I've just landed on my jaw.
Yeah, it's like, it's not that funny when the person's actually hurt.
Yeah.
I mean, it's funny now because obviously you're okay.
Yeah. It's just 24 hours. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Wild, man. So, yeah. Let us know what your biggest gym... is it a gym fail?
Yeah.
Let us know what your biggest gym fail is.
I have a question of etiquette.
Okay.
So, the leg press selection at my gym is mediocre.
Yeah.
I've figured out how to use... It's almost like hip pressy, but I found a position that's all right for quads. And if I put my shoes on, I think it's going to be perfect next week. So I'm happy.
Yeah.
But I do a single leg press at another time in the week. And I want to make it really quaddy. And the pin-loaded machine, position-wise, is amazing. But the range of motion's a little bit... It's just not quite. I want a little bit more.
Yeah.
So today, tried... they have a foam roller cut in half.
Oh, yeah.
So I put that behind me, but I was a little bit like, especially single leg, like I was a bit, am I going to fall off this?
Yeah.
So question of etiquette, like search in the gym, right? So I could take the bottom of the step off, but it's real narrow.
Oh, yeah.
And then propensity to slip, a little bit high for me. Under the foot on the pad.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But then I found the
Remember we used to do that?
Yeah, heaps.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was sketchy.
Yeah. It's so dangerous.
Then I found the yoga blocks.
You pull me back.
So I don't think I need my body to move forwards or my foot to move towards me.
Yeah.
So
you just sit forward though and put the box behind you. Is that what you're talking about?
No. So my proposed solution is to put it under my foot.
Isn't the block soft though?
So that's one problem.
Yeah.
But also the problem that
I feel like wearing like Yeezys.
My fucking shoe going into a yoga block then goes back into the group classroom
and goes on someone's like back
and someone's like fucking doing a head stretch on it and smelling my feet. Like, it just like, is it a shit thing to do to take the gym?
No shoes on?
Well, I think if I was gonna do it, but then it's softer, right? So if I wear my shoes, it's gonna be more firm on the soft pad.
Yeah.
So I haven't figured out the solution yet.
Yeah, you almost need to get like, one of those like sit up pads.
Do I actually?
And then you need to put it on behind you.
Yeah. So what I did today was just like made it heavier.
Yeah, I actually don't think you need to worry.
You know what I mean? It was just like fuck it. Add
I'm
more
pretty
weight.
sure the leg press So I have always said this, right? That the leg press, the range of motion doesn't need to be crazy like everyone's going on about.
Yeah.
And like my thought process was just like the articulation of the muscles.
Yeah.
So because they're like multi-pennate, like the pennation in the muscle itself, like it just means that they're going to generate force at like without like greater muscle lengths, right? Because they're still generating force the whole time.
Yes.
So then that would mean that it doesn't really matter like how much knee flexion you get, like to a degree.
Yeah.
And then, look at the data and that would also complement that theory.
Yes.
So like I've never really kind of looked for an excessive amount of range of motion on the leg press, but I know that, all this data comes out about range of motion and then we get caught into stretch mediated hypertrophy. So then every single exercise is like you kind of get almost pushed, like because even sometimes I'm like should I do more? But it's like
so then to add to that point, there's a leg extension in this gym. You know how you can buy the fucking thing that goes on?
Yeah, I need to
now?
get.
So this thing does that without it.
Yeah,
it's fucking
mad.
The stretch
Is it
position.
a Cybex one?
I don't even. It's like maybe a Life Fitness one from like 1997.
Yeah, I feel like the Life Fitness one we have, like it just needs another option to, like how it goes back with 3. It's like it needs a 4th one.
Thing has it. So I set up with Adrian on a Panada with seatbelt reclined fucking thing. This leg press is like within 2 inches of that, as it is.
That's amazing.
You just sit in it, put a fucking pin in, and off you go. So I'm like, well, I don't really need to worry about lengthening the quad because I'm lengthening the fuck out of it in a position that I'm trying to train shortened anyway.
Absolutely.
And it's amazing. So I feel like I'm just going to ego lift the fuck out of it and single leg press the stack. Fuck everyone.
It's funny. Like, think about what we would have done when we were like 23 or something. More. We would have just like lifted more weight.
Yeah.
Yeah. Isn't it funny? You just go full circle. I know nothing. I just go train hard, lift heavy, and it's like, all this stuff is all this overcomplication of muscle length and stuff, and it's like, I'm just going to train hard, lift heavy.
Yeah, it's the Jedi meme of the bell curve.
Yeah.
It's
crazy
hilarious
how that works. Yeah.
So I know I'm cutting your grass here, but the topic of today is why you're not building muscle.
Yeah, well, it's why
just lift heavier on the fucking leg press.
We build muscle.
Stop worrying about ROM so much.
Maybe you build muscle, or maybe you think you build muscle and you're not. Or you may not be building the muscle that you want. Yeah. And I definitely think like some of that is a little bit of paralysis by over analysis.
Yeah, because when I did it, I was like, I can create more tension and more force without this thing behind me, even though the range of motion is greater.
Yeah. There has to be a point.
There's got to be a trade-off that like if I feel unstable and I use less weight, that just doing 2 inches less.
I think on the leg press, that's a very comfortable position to land on. Because you don't need a large amount of range of motion on a leg press, right? Like we've already kind of said, like the evidence would suggest that it's okay to do a shorter range of motion and just like, push hard on the loadability, component. Like the access of range of motion doesn't have to be there.
So you train in a really different environment to me and internet. Do you think that range of motion is still... The thing was always ego lifting short reps.
Yeah.
Do you see more of that now, or do you see more people chasing excessive range of motion?
I think if you're newer to... So let's look at the we'll call it the character journey, right? So you're new to the gym. Your, I guess, like innate behavior is to lift as heavy as you can. Because you're watching other people and you're gradually going up in strength, right? So I think that when you're a beginner, like that's what you're driving, like you're driving like that. When you move to an intermediate, you're like, oh, well, I can't do what I just did. Like to continue on, there has to be something else that I'm missing, right? So you educate yourself on, human movement and hypertrophy training. And you're like, okay, well, I need to have an element of deceleration to my reps, and I need to have an increase in or a hyper focus on range of motion, right? So because you haven't done that up until this point, you're going to experience some gains from that.
Yep.
Right? And
novel stimulus.
So then you're going to associate the move to the next echelon of your progress all the way down to just that.
Yeah. So
if a little bit is good, more is better. So that's probably where...
Dislocate your shoulders on that pec fly machine, sir.
So that's usually the character journey up until that point. And then where I think the people that get to the other side of it without being injured are the ones that take a combination of like the phase 1 of the journey and phase 2 together. They're like, all right, so there's some movements where, you know, you're going to be able to access some real extreme muscle lengths, and you do want to do that with control, but the goal is always to try and load the muscle, as much as you can, which is appropriate for their movement. So they're the people that are gonna, and then there's exercises that are loadable, but you're not going to access a heavy amount of range of motion. So you just need to know what you're working with and why.
Yeah.
And then there's people who will just either maybe get stuck in that range of motion and tempo kind of world and never really make like a significant amount of progress again.
Yeah.
Or you'll have those people that just go back to...
Until they go to powerlifting and then...
Well, yeah.
Muscle again.
And then you'll have those people that clang and bang forever. And
hurts.
Well, when they get to like 30, 35, it's like, my knees are fucked, my shoulders are cooked, my elbows are fucked. Like, and then they just tell you about how much they used to lift. So, I split the journey up from 2 to 3 there.
Yeah.
But I feel like they're the most common kind of paths that people make, right? Yeah. Which all of them are going to build muscle to a point. It's just like, I feel like when you lift heavy and you have control and you think about range of motion, like if you do that together, if you have those 3 things in your thought process to your training philosophy, you're going to last longer.
Yeah.
Because we talk about this all like heaps, the generation before us, all of them, once they're 35 plus, they're just like, oh, I'm fucked.
Yeah.
So now I've adopted this new training style that you all should adopt.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. That I didn't use to look like this.
Yeah, correct. Yeah. It's like, hang on a minute, bro.
Yeah.
So then the new generation go, well, I shouldn't clang and bang ever.
Yeah.
Or there's less of them, sorry.
Yeah.
And then I feel like that's where we've talked about this in the past, where you don't get people walking around with like a real good set of traps, for example. Because traps mean strong.
Earned.
Yeah, you can't, very few people are like walking around with a great set of traps that have never trained ever.
Yeah.
So you don't get that foundation of like strength. And
Do you think hammies are the same?
Hammies? Potentially.
I don't know many people with
glutes are probably...
See, I feel like there's
glutes
a lot
on guys,
of people...
Glutes on guys,
True.
because glutes on guys because they don't target them specifically. So if you saw a guy, like, think about it, man. Like, you see a dude with like a fucking... And I mean this in like the most
This double cheeked.
But you see...
double cheeked up,
if you see a guy who's fucking got a couple of melons on the back, like, you instantly go... That guy is
strong.
That guy's either strong or really fucking fast.
Yeah.
They're the two things. He's either an athlete...
Yeah.
Yeah, he's an athlete or he's a fucking lifter.
Yeah.
Like, so that's usually the litmus test for me. It's like, and then if they got both, you're like, this guy's a fucking beast.
I'm scared. I was just thinking from girls, like, obviously, like, the trap development's still a thing.
I think the girls, it's the arms, man. Like, the delts.
Delts are a good one.
But if you've got biceps and triceps too, like, think about, like, so look at like, you've got, like, a bikini athlete who's trying to build a silhouette.
Yeah.
But then you just look at that, like, seasoned CrossFitter that just has that thickness in their arm, like the arm hang and the delt. It's like, that's a different look, bro.
Strong,
that's a different look altogether.
Yeah, I think coming from the powerlifting backgrounds, it's like it's pretty posterior dominant quite a lot.
Yeah.
So I'm like, if I see a girl with hamstrings, because like there's girls that don't lift that have big glutes.
Yeah, I think for the girls, it's the whole silhouette of the leg.
Yeah.
Like if you've got like that, your outer quad is like bulging, and then you've got that like teardrop of like the hamstring and the glute, like all together in that silhouette, you're like, that's a strong fucking person.
Yeah. Training legs with you is gonna be a challenge.
Yeah. It's like you can move some fucking weight. You know? Yeah. But everyone's got them, right? So everyone's got that vision of what it is. It could be different for everybody.
I think like you mentioned the CrossFitter thing. I think erectors are it too.
Yeah. Erectors are a good sign.
Girl walked past in a crop top with like 2 fucking pipes of the erectors, and you're like, okay, she's strong.
Yeah. And then if that leads up to traps, it's like, whoa.
Yeah.
Anyway, enough muscle worshipping, eh? So where do you sit on the range of motion to the loadability spectrum? Like, do you think that we should always be trying to search for range of motion, like, or should we, like, are there elements of when you can just do short range of motion exercises with heavy lifts?
I think the program should be designed to have both.
Of course.
So I would prioritize loadability early in the session and then progress into isolation, less complexity of exercise with greater range of motion.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, I just think there's some movements where like more range of motion just should never be the intention.
Yeah.
Like people always like, hey, sure, like the bench press, for example, right? Like it's not a great hypertrophy exercise because the range of motion is so short. But then you're like, well, what are you making up in total muscle activation of the upper body and the extra kilos? Like what are you making up? And the stability of just like having the bar.
Yeah.
Because we were all talking about how stability is a major component to activating enough muscle fibers to stimulate, right? So then I still feel like there has to be a trade-off you're willing to work with.
Yep.
And then it's like, well, whatever you're losing in that exercise, like, can't you get it back somewhere else? Like, that's the best thing about that's the best thing about physique training. It's like you can get what you didn't get out of one movement somewhere else.
Yeah. I think I fell into that trap a lot because the bench press is a very unfavorable exercise for me for pec development. We both just got a message at the same time.
Yeah, it's like that's a business.
It's a group chat somewhere. It's super unfavorable for me, I would say, to build my pecs.
Yeah.
But the pec progress I made last year, I can't pretend it's not. There's no correlation with the fact that I can bench 150.
Yeah.
It's like my incline press is better, my Smith machine press is better, my cable fly is better because I can bench 150.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's also for me, like we talked about it on one of the YouTube sessions, like a shoulder press for me, you were really wide and you were like, yo, I get a little bit of front delt, I get a little bit of lateral delt and it works really nicely. If I come out that wide, it just fucking hurts.
Yeah, that's just it.
So I'm like, this is a front delt. This is an upper body strength exercise for me that happens to train the front delt more than anything else. But it means that I can lat raise 17s to 20s. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think
it's too pigeonholed to look at either as the thing.
I agree. Yeah, I think you just got to have more. Know that they're both an element to play with, and then you're just like, this is for this and that's for that.
Yeah.
That's where I like to look through those lenses of just like loadability and then access to range of motion. And like, some of those will overlap. Like you'll have something that's really loadable and like it's a great, active range of motion for the exercise. But then there's others that you just won't.
Yeah. Is that a good example? Pendulum squat?
Well, pendulum squat's really loadable and it's got a great range of motion.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a fantastic example of a combination of both, which is why if you have access to one, like that should be the focal point of your anterior leg development.
Yeah.
But if you don't have it, it's like, it's fine. Just find other things. And then if you don't have a great range of motion in any of your leg training, you'll be able to stimulate the muscle with 2 exercises across
each end of the range.
Yeah, correct. So
it's funny. That's what we used to talk about.
Yeah, we just like train it over a week, not an exercise.
Yeah, it was like I put this bicep curl in because it's shortened. I put this one in because it's lengthened, and that's how we used to write programs like 10 years ago.
Yeah,
and now it's like everything's ROM.
Yeah, you have to do everything for every exercise.
Yeah,
like as much as possible. Which, I don't know how much I agree with that, to be honest. So I think if you get on the other side of that, that's what we're talking, right? So to make the most gains, like if you get on the other side of like just deciding like loadable or range of motion, or if it's got a combination, you'll make the most progress.
Yeah.
So talking about making progress and I guess like maximizing muscle gain, like what are some feedbacks or what are some things that people think that they should experience that doesn't drive muscle gain?
DOMS.
Yep.
Numero uno. You don't have.
Would you say DOMS is the most common one? Like people like, if I'm not making progress, it's because I'm not experiencing DOMS.
Yeah, I reckon.
Yeah, I reckon too.
Yeah.
There's just an idea that muscle soreness, and like, look, let's play devil's advocate. That feedback shows that you worked that muscle.
Yeah.
Right. So they're like rationally, that would suggest, and then it hurts.
Yeah. My goal is like move people from the idea that pain is good to like some kind of disruption.
Yeah.
Is good.
Absolutely.
It's like, I know I trained hamstrings yesterday.
Yeah. I think the easiest way to debunk that mindset is you can take 2 weeks off and train the same workout and lift less weight and the performance be awful comparative to when you were 2 weeks prior and like full steam ahead, and you'll experience way more muscle soreness.
Yeah.
So I think like that alone would suggest that like muscle soreness isn't like a great, kind of proxy to gauge your progress off. But then there still should be some form of like disruption to the muscle at all times. I just think like you should have a little bit of feedback, not a lot.
Yeah.
Because that's showing that your body is actually recovering from the stimulus that you're applying to it. And then like, you've got to think like, am I getting bigger? Am I getting stronger? And I'm also not experiencing a great amount of DOMs. Like that's a really good place to be. Like that window, like that groove that I call it, like when we're there, it's like we actually want to stay there as much as we can. Bigger, performing better in the gym and recovering well from your sessions. What more could you want?
Yeah. So you mentioned what I would, especially for the guys, and I've seen coaches kind of layer into this. The second one is maybe performance. That if I'm not lifting more every single week, then I'm not growing.
Yeah, absolutely. I didn't even have that in there, and that's so true because when you get stuck into a progressive mindset, you almost like it's all or nothing. Especially if you're like a high achiever too. Like, let's be real. It's like we're always trying to like just do more, but it's like if you don't achieve it, it's not like your body just went, all right, we're not going to switch on the MPS today.
You pussy.
You know what? Let's not elevate this man's muscle protein synthesis rate.
You don't fucking deserve it.
Put the muscle breakdown switch on. Turn it up. This guy doesn't deserve it. Yeah, it's hilarious, right? It's like you just get no benefit from it at all. It's just like that's not true, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I love that. I think one that's real common is just like the tiredness, fatigue. It's like you have to chase. You have to,
as I fucking yawn.
You have to chase like, yeah, I'm sweaty, I'm puffed, I'm tired.
Yeah.
And you also have to chase like, yeah, I'm burning.
Yeah.
Like lactic acid buildup, accumulation, like a combination of all of that. Like most people will associate like I'm not making the progress that I want, or I am making good gains, with that.
I got that this week. Sent out a program. It's not enough exercises. It's too easy. Yeah. Blah, blah. I'm like, I've done this exact workout you're talking about, and I laid on the floor for 10 minutes. Like an absolute mess.
Yeah.
It's like, it's intensity. It's not.
Yeah. What do you do in that scenario though? Like if I know I have a chain of thoughts when someone does that. Like what would you do?
It was probably, I take a little bit of ownership because it was a change in direction of training that was like to a hybrid program.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was like, I had ball slams, wall throws, jumps, stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I forgot to explain, your jump is you jump as high as you fucking can, stop and do another one. And when you throw that ball as hard as you fucking can.
Shit, yeah.
And then you stop and you do it again. You're not bouncing a ball like F45.
Yeah.
I know the group class bullshit that you do.
Yeah.
So that probably made a big difference. And then it was just enough to be like, I've done it and it brutalized me. So your intensity is not high enough. And then in 3 days, it was just like, this program's sick.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, okay.
Yeah, I do something similar. And then if the person, I feel like it does still somewhat depend on the training age of the client. Because like, let's be real, like new trainees into intermediates still don't know how to train hard.
Yeah.
So sometimes those people do need more volume because the fatigue, fatigue kind of starts to compound, and then the last 2 sets are actually like stimulating, right?
Yeah.
So in some instances, I'll give them the work that they want.
Yeah.
But I'll just let them know, like, there's people out here that can do this in 2 sets and feel, quite challenging. So it's just understanding where they are in that training spectrum of effort.
So I had to change recently based on the clientele I've attracted in the last 6 months.
Yeah.
I had to change my intro strength program.
Yeah.
For that exact reason.
Yeah.
Because I was getting people here, started getting people here,
You gotta make
and it was just like 4 weeks, like niggle, tired. I'm like, oh, this is
too hard,
too much work because you are strong.
Too hard. So if you're actually training for hypertrophy and you want to have focus in the areas that actually matter, we've spoken about a couple of them already. But what would be, top to bottom, like where should the focus be? Because it's like we know DOMS isn't the major focus. We know it's not about chasing fatigue. We know it's not about obsessing about range of motion. It's like, where should someone's focus be if they do want to pack on as much size as they can?
Program, exercise selection, intensity.
Yep.
That would be the trinity for me.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. I think I think like unpacking it a little bit further, like the program needs to be specific to putting on muscle. So a hypertrophy specific training session is not the same as like a strength session or, a session for like, cardiovascular conditioning, of course.
Yeah. Athletic performance.
Yeah, that's it. So it's like rep ranges are selected a certain way. Like even though, yes, we can build muscle in every rep range. It still needs to be complementary to what we know builds muscle, which is higher volume training sessions comparative to other styles of training.
Yeah.
And then, it needs to like access...
with less systemic fatigue. Generally.
Correct, yeah. So making sure we can do repeated bouts without accumulating a ridiculous amount of fatigue where possible. So the exercise selection is really important, like you said. The setup of the session in terms of the order is really important. I still believe that like the rep ranges still matter because it's about how much heavy lifting do you do comparative to how much like lighter or moderate load lifting. Like you still need to get that balance right because the sessions are quite dense overall. So those things are really important. And then I think what happens inside the session is like there still needs to be intent to load the target muscles in the exercise. Like you can't be movement focused. You have to be muscle centric in terms of like how you're training and stuff. That doesn't necessarily mean that you aren't taking a load from A to B, but you're doing it conscious of the muscle changing shape.
Yeah. So if I may, I'll give you an anecdote to play with that, right? Jumped on the leg extension, Panada, not too bad, range is okay. Doing, say, like 3/4 of the stack. People I was training with kind of like, I'm getting close. I'm just dropped 2 plates. Just eyeballed like 2 plates.
Yeah.
And do the stack. I'm like, okay. So I put the stack on and I got 6 reps.
Yeah.
Hurt and not like in a good way.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about it after and I was like, does that mean I'm a bitch? And that I've been 3-4 plates away from what I'm capable of in strength? Or when I left and the fact that I felt my knees, like how stimulatory was that full stack set?
Yeah, comparative
versus
to the other.
the 75 kilo set that I felt every piece of my quad. I still trained to failure. So I still took it to, it was only like 8, maybe 2 extra reps with less load. But I was fucking hunk it in, kick the fuck out of it to get it up.
Yeah.
Try a lockout versus activate from the quad, go through extension. I've been noticing a lot of my back training heaps where I've like really consciously thinking about my back and I'm like, why is this so hard? And I get another 4 reps. And it's like, because I started using my biceps.
Yeah.
So I'm curious where's the
what's spectrum?
What's the right?
Yeah. This is the analogy that I sit with or I play around with to explain the scenario because I can't answer the question, right? But let's say we had to move a piece of furniture and let's say you had to move a piece of furniture and every version of you that's picking up that piece of furniture is a muscle group.
Yep.
Right. So at a certain load, one of those bends is going to be able to do most of the lifting, right?
Yep.
And then you're going to be able to say to the other guys, like, just give me a little bit.
Yep.
So that's fine. There's going to become a point where that piece of furniture is so heavy, you can't say to the boys, the rest of you,
help a little bit.
They're going to have to help.
Yep.
Like there's going to be no communication.
Yeah.
So they're all going to help, right? So, and then you might even get some other bends, which is some other muscle groups that shouldn't be involved in the exercise ever. In the calf raise, like you start bending your knees a little bit, start like wiggling your upper body to like tilt your body away from like that center of gravity and shit. So all of a sudden like your traps start to lift up a little bit. So there's other muscle groups that are going to start because it's like, fuck man, this is so heavy. So the hardest thing though is to answer that question. It's like, where does the line kind of draw? I would always be trying to lift as heavy as I can, but because you have such great feedback of your body when you move and like what really holds true is those proxies that we spoke about. Like, you know how we wrote the articles about the how to assess your training effectiveness, right?
Yeah.
I think the ones in set and post set are super important.
Yeah.
So it's like, am I feeling it where I'm supposed to? Do I have great control? Is the range of motion there? But like, is there high levels of effort? And then afterwards, like, do I feel disruption in the target muscle? I think if you can do all of that like all of those proxies, put them together and lift as heavy as you can, I think you'll be fine.
Yeah.
But that's going to be different for everyone.
And it's so challenging for someone in their first year.
Yeah, in their first year, you almost like have at it, just don't fuck yourself up. Like you like just lift as heavy as you can, but control yourself.
Yeah.
So that they don't put themselves in a compromised position. You have to train enough to feel your body in space. You have to train enough to like kind of know what's going on. So you've just got to do. And then, you definitely like the next step from there is like, I hate using that like muscle connection.
Yeah. Oh, that's where the mind muscle connection crowd comes from though, right? It's like the intent is pure, is that like, did you use your quads? And it's like, it's a fucking leg extension, dude. Like, it's not like it was a squat.
Yeah.
It's not like it was a high bar squat that I started low bar squatting. It's like, how did this happen? Because I can, like the RPE 9, put $100 in front of me. Can you do 2 more reps? Nah, I can't.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Legit. And then you put the stack on and get it done. It's just like, what happened there? It's so hard to say.
Yeah, and it's
tell
like
a new trainee to understand that.
Absolutely. And the other thing though, which most likely is the answer to all of this, you can do it once. You do it again and again.
Broken.
After the session, my kneecaps.
Yeah.
And then, do it for a couple more weeks. My hips, because the hip flexors are copping a flogging.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily just about can you lift it or not. It's like, well, what's the trade-off to lifting that way?
Yeah.
So I think that there's a place on the spectrum of control and, muscle activation, muscle memory, mind muscle connection. Like there's a spectrum where you sit and you're like, I can lift this as hard as possible with as much control as I can without killing my body, so that you can be in your 40s and still be lifting whatever you want. Like, like I can't wait to go back to the barbell. Like I'm going back to the barbell at this new gym. They're gonna have brand new barbells, brand new weights. I'm like, I am bench pressing.
Yeah.
Because I want to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I'm like, I'm going to set my program up so that like in a month's time, my arms aren't fucked. Like I'll do, some shoulder stuff before I go to the bench. Like I'll do a couple exercises before I get to the bench.
Yeah.
But it's like, you can do that because you don't train the way you just said.
Yes.
Just clanging and banging and,
yeah.
Because that's going to beat you up for your whole life. So you can only do it for so long.
Yeah. So good, thorough, well thought out program.
Yep.
That there's a time for loadability, there's a time for range of motion.
Yep.
There's time for different training, different positions of the muscle. What else did I say? Exercise selection.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's the more advanced you becomes more advanced as well, I think, in terms of personalization. Like you doing a bench press versus me doing a bench press and a shoulder press and stuff. It's like it's not the same outcome. Then the intensity. So we did that checklist, right, of like preset, post set. It's like, does your final rep, and this is where it's important. A lot of people will say your last rep should look different to your first rep. I would argue it shouldn't, but it should be slower.
Oh, like the only thing that should look different is the speed of it.
And maybe that is a good proxy for this, like, should I do the stack or not?
Yeah, you know what?
Because it progressively didn't look the same.
Yeah.
And the cadence slowed down. My good set looked bang, 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 slower, slower, done.
Yeah, I sit with that mantra, we'll call it. And it kind of eats me up sometimes because I'm like...
But then there's a time for it, right?
But when you and I train... So when I trained with Brett, my younger client, who's crushing it.
Yeah.
So he was just like, you can't even tell when it's hard because it looks the same.
Yeah.
Right? So he's like, you just stop.
Yeah.
So you either... he's like, but every rep looks exactly the same. You'll just do it and then you'll just go... No.
Yeah.
So then I'm like, well, if every rep doesn't look the same then. Every rep does look the same then. So how do you know? You know what I mean? Like, because everyone's like...
Is that muscle group specific for you? I don't know how much time I got. Good 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Because it's muscle group specific for me.
I think it's movement specific for me. If I'm locked in and it's like a machine, every rep I'll just do it and then I'll just stop. But like...
So I can grind a press for 3 days. A lying hamstring curl, I have an inch.
You know, one of those white lies that you tell your kids just so they do shit?
Yeah.
I feel like that's what that is for lifters. Is it's teaching them to work hard, but eventually all your reps look the same. Because if you watch a bodybuilder, like a pro level one, all their reps look the same. Like they don't actually really stop ever.
Do the grind.
Yeah. So maybe it's that. I don't know. So sometimes I'm like, but yeah, I get it. It's like you train, but then if you go all out effort, the reps do slow down, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe it just depends on your training philosophy. Because, some people don't always train to failure. So maybe that's what it is. Actually, that's what it is, right? So we know that trained lifters don't have to train to failure to get muscle adaptations, right?
Yeah.
So those people, every rep looks the same because they'll stop.
Because I could argue that you could press through that dumbbell press that you stopped.
Yeah.
You could.
Absolutely.
But what's the cost?
Correct. So we're getting to it now. This is why we need the 75 minutes. So then what you're trying to do is teach people how to do that. So then they go, right, well, maybe digging is not worth it.
Yeah.
Like digging that extra couple of reps. Or if you like it like me, sometimes it's like, it's a bit of fun.
Get it.
Yeah, you just grit your teeth and you're like, Arr.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right, we got there.
All right. So get a good program.
Yeah. Make sure it's progressive.
Make sure that you can progress it, which is going to come from an intensity. And then progression doesn't in isolation mean just doing more every week. Progression also is what we've talked about today is like, can you repeat that for 6 weeks and not be fucked?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's going to come into technique execution and then intensity meaning how close you are to failure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do all those things.
Yeah, you'll be getting huge.
Get gains.
Yeah, and I think the last thing is just like track your recovery.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just making sure you're not going in the gym. Yeah, and just like, you don't want to be going in the gym doing a bunch of shit workouts all the time. Like, so you just need to be mindful of like the metrics that govern that. We nearly got there.
We've been beeped off.
See what happens when we talk about getting huge?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think they're all of the areas that like there's a lot of take homes out of that episode. Like,
I think so.
I think there's heaps to take away from that.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
Everyone's going to go do half rep single leg press.
I'm fucking here for it. I'm here for it. All right, guys. So if this is the first time you've landed on the episode, hit the subscribe or the follow button, depending on what platform you're on. If you've been here a few times now to listen to these banger episodes and you haven't hit that subscribe or follow button, now's your time. Please support the podcast. If you can share it out to anyone who is within your network, it does great for us to get this message out. If you can pop some comments down on the podcast on Spotify or even on YouTube and stuff, that would be great. If you got any questions, that would be really good for us.
Even
to
if
feel
you want
to
fight with us, it's fine.
Yeah, it is pretty entertaining to debate people on the internet. We won't call it fight because fighting gets personal. Like if you're willing to, I'm down for a debate as long as it's civil.
It's me and you versus
if you start to get personal, like you get blocked. So
it's me and you versus the problem.
Hit the like and share and the subscribe button on the platform. Thank you guys for watching. Share it out to other people, like I said, and we'll see you next time.